how are you?
Quite fine.
Great, happy to hear that. Can you introduce yourself and tell us how long do you work at OpenE? Where exactly from do you work for OpenE?
So, well, my name is Todd Maxwell, and I started in 2006, quite a long time, so over 17 and a half, almost 17 and a half years. So yeah, it's about right, over 17 and a half years. Feels like about a year, to be honest.
Yeah, the time passes very quickly. And can you tell me where are you working from and what do you do for OpenE?
So in the Atlanta area, we had our office there. I first started there. Then we had an office in Boston and San Francisco and various places. So we finally reside in Atlanta. What I started as a support pre-sales engineer and building up the Americas, and then slowly graduating to developing the OECE classes, where I've done for many years across the world, and then back and forth, and then growing the teams and supporting the customers.
Can you tell me do you remember any day at OpenE, like you remember it, this was an extraordinary day, anything, happened?
Actually, to be honest, every day is different. You have to remember, in all the technologies that there are in an IT infrastructure, I mean, you've got email servers, you've got routers, you've got firewalls. I mean, you got a slew of technology components. And out of all the components is going to be the storage. The storage is the most vital. You lose your data, you're going to be out of business in 3 years. So this is where we deal. Data is more in seconds, where other things can be minutes. So it's almost, we're like firemen, and you have to get that data up for accessibility, because if you're down, in some of our companies, that could be $1,000 per hour. In others, it could be hundreds of thousands. So timing and criticality and data redundancy is so important. And being able to understand all the components that data interacts with is very critical. So you kind of have to be on your game here. That's why OpenE has all our developers, support, everybody is in-house. There is nothing outsourced, and for that reason.
And tell us, how much have you learned from OpenE? You said it was like almost 17 years, so probably a lot.
I think that what I've learned, and before OpenE, I was in storage. I worked for other storage vendors, and I think that what happens is the pendulum swings every 10 years, about 8 to 10 years. So it varies how the data is accessed, where the data is housed. We're seeing another swing coming by. And I think that what I have experienced over the years is that it's never the same in forever. It always changes. Actually, it ends up being more speeds and feeds, data redundancy, data availability. And so different technologies expand on those flexibilities depending upon the types of data. So it's all just growing, and it'll always be like that. Even in 100 years from now, data accessibility will be beyond smart devices. It'll be integrated. I mean, right now we're in AI. We have to do almost prefetch data before the AI asks. You get in some wild stuff that we're looking into, that we know that's coming.
And from perspective of years, how do you perceive the changes both in OpenE and the whole data storage market?
I see a lot of AI integration with storage. How it will be perceived, accessible, and written. So you're going to have more integration of components. I can even imagine where all your kitchen appliances, to everything of a company, to the coffee machine, everything will be identified as an entity, and data, metadata, will be stored. I think redundancy is going to be the key. and where if there's an outage, power outage, if there is earthquake, if there's climate issues or catastrophes, you're going to have some type of data redundancies, and you're going to see more of that come about. You'll probably see it in storage and satellite and space. It's just going to go exponentially. It has to.
Yes, and well, we can say that working in data storage market is like multitasking. We do a lot of different things. And can you tell me what aspects of your work gives you the most satisfaction?
You know, it's not a bravado of me, because many of the engineers get it too. But I think the satisfaction is the customer. At the end of the day, that's our paycheck. At the end of the day, that's who we serve. So, for example, if you type my name or any of the engineers in, let's say, the forums or just online, you'll see thousands of engineers I've helped, my peers have helped, where you get a response, thank you so much. Just got to remember, over on our forums, we have a huge response time when it was used a lot. And when you're helping an engineer that you have no idea who they are, right? But they're on an island and they need help and they need to access that data. You give them a quick response that is allowing them to solve a problem and assisting them to access that data and find where that problem is. And then you get thank you. You know, there's something there that's what we do. It's just almost like a fireman or a doctor who saves a life. And I think that's the passion is to help customers and to get that gratification. There's no feeling. It's just a pure feeling and satisfaction that you get when you get that kind of response. When another engineer says, thank you, you helped us out and you saved us. And it's not just us, it's also the quality of the product that makes that happen.
Yeah, and we can say that we receive a lot of appreciation when we help people to when they like in the critical situation with their data. But can you tell me, how would you describe people working at OpenE? What's their attitude?
Like any company, you know, you have to have a battlefield mentality. If you don't, just like any company, I'm sure I would say in OpenE 95%, because you always have to have the 5% for unknown conditions. I mean, can you imagine if you have a laissez-faire attitude, your customers aren't going to want that. And even if you gave the software for free, they're not going to want that. They don't want to depend their business, their data, and their success with that kind of attitude. So you got to have a battlefield mentality. If you don't, what are you doing? And that's what our agenda is.
Thank you very much for this short conversation. Probably you have lots of things to do. So have a good day, and thank you once again for your time.
You too. Take care. Bye-bye.